Hey, you guys. Rachel's Not That Deep of the Day today is.
It's not that deep to talk to strangers.
Do you want to elaborate at all? Maybe a one-sentence follow-up or no?
I just think that we value these long-term friendships, these people that have been in our life for so long. And I think that there's so much beauty in the very small interconnectedness of our world. And if we're not talking to each other and engaging with each other in friendly, colloquial, small burst ways, then majority of our life is just kind of moving with blinders on, and that's lonely. I even just like smiled to a guy on the subway on the way over here, and that like changed my whole mood.
Wait, it's not that deep. Rachel Saslaw, welcome to Not That Deep. I'm so happy to have you on, finally. Thanks for dealing with my scheduling nuances.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You're very organized.
I'm very organized. I have a good follow through, great calendar system, and yeah, I pride myself on my follow up.
I feel like someone like me is kind of your worst nightmare because you're like, hey, Dana, where am I going? When? When do you want me to show up? Do I need to prepare anything? And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have a blast.
It's a combination. I think if you didn't have like your soul, like if you were not like heart forward, if you were like chaotic and a bitch, like that's an absolute no. But I think that like just your heart radiates so deeply that I'm like, I'm just gonna go around the corner to a bead store and get a cookie, and you know she'll be here when she's here.
I love that. You cannot be chaotic and a bitch.
Totally. And you can't be ugly and a bitch too. Like you have to pick one.
No.
Yeah.
Can you be pretty and a bitch?
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
So how we met is through the reason that you're here, and that is through StoryTell.
Yeah.
Can you do me a huge favor and introduce yourself as how you want to be introduced today? Maybe like where you're from, where you live, and then we're obviously going to get into StoryTell and how it got started because it is so important and has already changed my perspective, and I feel so truly lucky to have been brought there, and then our connection is just so wild.
Yes.
So do you mind a quick intro?
I don't mind a quick intro.
Thanks.
Okay. So I'm Rachel Saslaw. I am a product marketer by day, and by night I run StoryTell, which is a community to help New Yorkers build a sense of empathy, belonging, and connection through personal storytelling. And it really came from a personal need. I grew up in New Jersey. And so when I moved to New York City, I felt that like a lot of my friendships were just people that were from my childhood, from college, from camp, and didn't necessarily, they fit my life in that moment, but they didn't necessarily share the same values as I was like evolving as an adult. And I wanted to create a container to attract like-minded people that were willing to like go there and be introspective and curious and move through the world with this like open-heartedness and this open-mindedness. And it started in a living room and is now kind of a really big part of my identity, honestly. Sometimes too much.
We'll dig into that.
Yeah.
I think that like what you just said is so relatable, and I resonate with it so much as someone that's also from New Jersey. But I agree with you where sometimes just because we live in New York City and you have these imprinted friendships that you value so much and it doesn't change how much you love them, but you also recognize the need for like other relationships. There's how many people live in New York City?
7 million.
Tech is Googling. Chat. I just think there's just so many people out there, and like as you get to know yourself,
I'm really off.
You realize
8.5.
Okay.
8.5 million?
Yeah. Okay, but 7 was close.
That's insane. Wait, did I say 7 or did you?
I said 7.
Damn it. I just kind of black out.
Yeah, me too. Well, first I said 3, and then I just like came back to my body.
And then
yeah,
it's just not that deep.
it's not that deep.
Miscalculating, misjudging, please go.
No.
Wait, so I was going to say,
Yeah.
because of this need, like how long did you operate like just still kind of doing what you were supposed to be doing in terms of like community building, going to and from your big man job? Like when did you eventually recognize, wait, I need to make a change?
I hate to say it, but I feel like COVID was like such a stopping point for all of us to kind of like reevaluate and take stock and be like, what the heck am I doing with my time? Who am I spending my time with? I feel like even just coming off of the holidays right now, like this really slow, juicy time between Christmas and New Year's where you kind of have to like sit with your feelings and kind of take stock of your community and who you surround yourself with. COVID just felt like that times 3. And I kind of reemerged after moving back to my parents' house, which most Jersey kids did. Yeah, let's fucking go. And yeah, I came back to New York and I think that there was this like rise of the micro community. I was starting to feel this energy of like, wow, like I can be a leader in creating and building an environment and a world that I want to live in. And I felt inspired by a few people that were around me, though it was very new. Like now there's just like a million small little like clubs. I feel like New York is like one big college campus at this point. It's crazy. But StoryTell was kind of at like the forefront of that. And I didn't expect it to grow into such a large community, but I realized that what was a personal need was like a societal need, is like a systemic need. It is like my politics almost. Like this has taken form to be so much greater than what it ever started out to be. And it's very empowering and crazy to look back on like the evolution of it. But I feel like as a society, we like emphasize these long-term friendships. I've always been like, I want a best friend that I've had since like preschool. Like in the media, they always show the friends that have just been through thick and thin together. And I think that there is so much beauty in temporary friendships and adult friendships because people are like catching you at a time where you are so aligned to your own values and like who you are as like an evolved adult. Like your prefrontal cortex is like screwed in and you're like, all right, like I kind of know what I stand for now and who's along for the ride with me. And instead of just kind of like marinating in the relationships that I built that were maybe really good for the time, like being open to making new friends. There's always room for dessert. There's always room for a new friend. Those are like my philosophies in life. And I think that like we really undermine the value of adult friendships and temporary friendships in the grand scheme of like communal and social fulfillment.
I could not agree more. And I feel like you almost learn so much. I mean, you always have the friends that like maybe or maybe not that you've had since preschool that know you from point A to point B. But there is so much value in meeting someone when you're, I'll speak for myself, like when I'm 28 years old and I feel like I'm really coming into myself. And it's like, I wouldn't have gotten along with this person if I met them when I was 24. Or I wouldn't have understood kind of their process of why they did that and why they left their job and why they're traveling. But now you get such a good concept of your core values, and to be able to connect with people is so important. It sounds like you've been aware of that for a long time and then you kind of took action on it. What living room were you like, I'm gonna, like, I want to get inside your brain of like, okay, you want this thing. How did you actually do it?
Okay.
Because a lot of people have ideas and they don't do it.
It's so true. So actually, I started building StoryTell with a co-founder. I was sitting at a table at a dinner for strangers, actually. And we were talking about friendships, and I was talking about how I feel like there's such emphasis on building romantically with someone, building a home, building a life, building a family with someone. And I'm single, and I feel like there is a lack of emphasis on platonic intimacy and platonic building together. You know,
Yes.
I feel like there's this book called The Other Significant Other, and it's all about recentering platonic relationships as kind of like the center of your relationship spoke, and romantic relationships being kind of like a supporting role to that. And I think that that's like a really juicy reorientation of how we've always operated as a society. But I have really wanted to kind of like challenge that and have partnership in areas of my life that's not just romantic. I live alone. I am the most senior person in my function at my job. I'm fucking lonely. And despite being someone that is surrounded by people all of the time, feeling that sense of partnership and working together towards something was something I was really craving at the time. And so I kind of pitched this to a friend and she was down. And so I think when it comes to inviting people, because I see a lot of people come against this like friction of like, I'm so nervous to host this thing because I'm afraid that no one's going to show up. And you got to do a little bit of this like manual preceding where you go around to like your key 5 people and you're like, hey, I'm hosting this thing. Can you make it on this date? And you get confirmation from like 5 people. So if you ever fucking hit rock bottom, you still got your 5 people there. And it was like 8 people in a living room. One girl showed up absolutely stoned. Yeah, like it was just like a feeling it out kind of moment. And then friends of friends and friends of friends and friends of friends grew. And I think what was so important about StoryTell and why it worked and why it's grown is because I, at the time, was the target audience for it. And so at the same time as I'm talking to community members or just people that showed up to the event and asking them, you know, like what they got out of it or what they needed more from the community or how was that format switch up. At the end of the day, it helped me kind of like look inward and really trust myself because I was like, if I'm the audience and I'm also the artist, then I get to kind of mold this to what I need and hopefully people will follow. And that's kind of like Rick Rubin's philosophy in Creative Act, which is all about like building for yourself as the artist. And that was a really interesting pivot for me because as a product marketer, I'm always thinking about like product market fit and how this relates to an audience that is not me. And for once I was like, I get to tap into my own gut and listen to what I need. And I hadn't cultivated that a lot in my childhood.
Yeah, like it's literally by you, for you.
Yeah, it was at the time.
And now it's by you, for everyone. Like,
which gets complicated because I'm no longer my target audience. Like I've fed that version of myself. I fed that need.
what was the first prompt that you brought to that 8-person session, and what year was that 8-person session?
It was February 2020. Oof. Wow. It's 2026 now. So 2023, February 2023.
Wow.
So next month would be the 3-year anniversary. And the theme was the one that stayed or the one that got away. So it was all about kind of like, yeah, spicy.
And like, what was your feeling of like hearing these people, even the stoned girl, stoned women have voices too.
Absolutely.
Let them be heard, even if you can't understand it. What was the feeling that you had when this was going on? Were you like sitting back? Were you anxiously trying to conduct? Did it flow naturally? Like, what did you kind of take from that first session? And it could just be like, this rocked.
Yeah, I think like there was this nugget of like, ooh, there's something there. Like, oh, people really want to be here and are actively showing up and participating here. And kind of this like, I think during the event, there was a lot of gratitude that people were willing to show up vulnerably because I didn't know if people would. But I think that the real clicking moment for me, which was like, okay, we're going to do this again, was after the fact. Everyone's just like cuddled up on the couch, talking to someone new, and just like marinating in the shared experience of collective vulnerability and this openness that now you have this shared experience where you can talk to someone and be like, well, how did that story make you feel? Or like you now have this foundation of shared life that you get to pull threads on. And it's way more interesting than like, how's your week been, you know? Yeah.
It's deep. And I think people overlook so often of the importance of recognizing the deep and talking about the deep, even if it is uncomfortable. And the deep and the not that deep, like they coexist.
Yes.
Like being late to something is not that deep, but like that also gives so much power to the things that are that deep, or like tripping or whatever the hell it is that's not that deep. Like the deepness is what also really connects us at our core. Like how have you, since you've had a session a month, right? Or what do you call it? A collaboration, an event?
A gathering.
A gathering. I knew there was a special word.
Event feels like too formal. And whatever the heck you just said.
What did I say?
I don't know, man.
This is
I
what
smoke
happens.
too much pot. Yeah.
This is literally what happens.
Stone girls have voices too.
Stone girls have voices too. Okay, but so you've had a gathering every month since that February.
Yeah.
How do you decide like where it is? How do you pick a place?
Oh, if we're being honest here, it's like
you have to be honest here.
A lot of it has to do with like the margins and like how many people can I fit in a space? Is the space comfortable? Can you take your shoes off? That's like a huge value prop for me. Sorry, my product marketer is showing. I want spaces to feel equalizing for people. So like I want to see the Fortune 500 CMO with their mismatched socks, like step into the room and just like be on the same playing field as the unemployed dog walking, 25-year-old. And so I think that there are like certain criteria for spaces, but when I'm evaluating between the spaces that I work with, obviously I'm caring about diversity of neighborhoods. So like, can I centralize my gathering in a place where my community is, but also bringing in new people from the community. I have tons of people from Harlem that are saying that they want to come, but they're like, fuck, I'm not going to Williamsburg. And so creating access and like expanding where we are is something that I'm really focused on this year. But yeah, the spaces need to feel like an extension of your living room, honestly, because it started in a living room. I want it to still feel that way.
It does feel like a living room, and also your ability to make a big space feel small with like your voice, and at least like the two that I went to, you walk around, you make everyone feel seen and heard, and just like I want you to talk about the process also of like, or I could sum it up, but I think it's probably better coming from you, of like when you come to StoryTell, like what is the process? Like, does everyone share? Do you have to share? Can you just listen?
Yeah.
Like I know the answer, but I wanted you to say.
Yeah. Okay. So
you guys have to go to StoryTell. Like I cannot express enough how important this is. I've never been to something that I just felt so fulfilled. I didn't know anybody except for Caitlin Lubis. Shout out.
And then I guess me.
And then I ended up realizing that I know you.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that quickly because, and then we're going to go into what happens when you show up to StoryTell.
Yeah, you might realize that you're mutual friends with each other and scream and scare everybody.
Like the power of discovering a mutual, like I don't like to give a lot of credit to social media, but that really is a huge part of what's beautiful about it.
It's the social part of social media.
But like when you were conducting yourself, I was like, this bitch has it. And I felt so like familiar to you. And it could have been like the Judaism and like brown eyes, but I was like, I feel like connected. And then after we're talking, and it's hard to talk to people that you don't know.
Totally. I show up that way because that's what I want. And that's what I would have wanted. And that's what like my inner child needed to walk into a room. Because you know what? At the top of this fucking conversation, you were saying that I don't need a social crutch, but I get social anxiety too, believe it or not. Yeah, I don't like parties. I don't like parties.
Why?
It's too loud. I can't fully like connect with somebody. Small talk drains the shit out of me. It feels fake. And it's often centered around alcohol and consumption. And like, then there's like this distorted relationship where you like wake up the next day and it's like, was my version of meeting that person the same as their version? And yeah, I get a lot of social anxiety.
Do you drink?
Sometimes.
I stopped drinking like a year and a half ago, and that was honestly the biggest reason, because I was like, I have never had a morning after and said, I had such a good conversation with that person last night. And like, that's what I care about.
Yeah.
not everyone needs to care about that. Not everyone innately cares about that. Some people are like, oh my God, we shook ass. Like, look at these funny photos we took.
That.
Right. And you're valid. And like,
yeah.
that's your opinion. But like, that can be important too. But then it also you can have balance. It doesn't need to be one or the other. Like, you do not need to pick a lane.
Totally. I feel like
I love our use of hands. Yeah. Like, literally our use of hands are literally
nails.
like, yeah. Like,
I'm Jewish. Yeah. Could you tell? I feel like we have gone so far to facilitate connection that now when we're just like put in a room with strangers and we're like, go figure it out, go mingle. Like, people just used to figure out parties. They would go up to a stranger, they would introduce to themselves to someone at a bar. And now I feel like there's this like heavy orchestration of communal gatherings where, and I am guilty of this. When you walk into a StoryTell, I greet every single person. Yeah. I am a smiling face. I make sure that I'm always at the door or someone is at the door. You're told exactly what to do, what the next steps are, where to put your coat, where the bathroom is, help you like ground in that space. Like, our parents didn't have to freaking do that. They like just walked in and they figured it out. And we're like kind of hand-holding and shepherding us back into these environments of commingling and coexisting with each other. And I do feel like maybe we've like erred way on the side of this like white glove service of facilitating connection, that then when I'm in this gray area of going to like a happy hour or a mixer, like my whole heart sinks and I'm like, I can't possibly show up to that. And yeah, then I get a lot of social anxiety.
I hear you on that. It's like, that is making so much sense to me. What also makes sense to me, and what I'm kind of putting from before, is like the value of platonic and versus like putting romantic behind. I have found that like when I'm out at a bar and like, let's say I'm talking to a guy and I'm just like kind of having fun, it's like, wait, do you think that I want to date you? Like, we're just kind of riffing. And I feel like it's almost unfathomable that someone would just be looking for platonic friendship with the opposite sex while being attracted to the opposite sex. And then it creates this kind of inability to like, I find, like, connect with the opposite sex, because it's like, will they, won't they? And it's like, no, wait, what if we were just like friends and like I'm not attracted to you? Like, I find that could be unfathomable for some people.
Like, what context is that happening in? Because I could say like, yes, I think that would happen in a bar quite often, where like you're kind of in this like melting pot of a environment where people are kind of known to pick each other up in a more romantic way. But if you're in a container, I feel duality about all of this. Like, I think the container that I build at StoryTell is so beautiful and incredible and safe and coddling. Yeah. And it's expansive, and it also gives people permission to connect, no matter your gender, like whatever your sexuality, because that's the norms that we've set in this like alternate reality. I think so much of community building is setting the table. It is setting the norms of what is expected of you. How do I expect you to show up? How do I lead by example? And how do I show up? How do I lead with vulnerability? And how do I create that permission, that container for permission for other people to operate in that way? And I feel like community building is just container setting with suspended reality norms, where saying hello to the person sitting next to you is the norm, not the exception. And we're kind of flipping the rules of what an interaction on the subway would be, which is no eye contact, no hello, face down in your phone, like no phones at StoryTell. And I'm not enforcing that, but the community is kind of living by these values and the way that I show up in the space, that it's giving people permission. And I think that that's what being a community builder is. It's about creating permission. And so I think in these environments where people are intermingling opposite sex, maybe you're interested in men are interested in women, whatever, in this particular context, like you're at StoryTell and all of that awkwardness of navigating platonic, romantic, whatever kind of dissipates. And it starts off as platonic and then you kind of like meander. It's like, oh, is there something more there? But that's not the expectation. It's not the norm.
I love everything you just said. And I agreed. Like, I feel like when, sure, you're in a container, I don't think that it's coddled. I think it's like comfortable because we're all craving like moments to not be on our phones. Like, no one's goal is to be on their phone more. No one is setting, no one's in for 2026 is like something that I really want to do is I just want to like be on my phone more.
Yeah, I want tech neck.
I feel like I'm like too connected with people in person, blah, blah, blah. No one's ever said that. So like your space gives people the like opportunity to just fucking put it away.
Yeah.
And just connect. Like I talked to so many women, men, everything. Like it didn't feel that like deep. Dare I say. But then you end up hearing from these people and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, you've got a whole fucking life.
I met you here.
Yeah.
You're a freaking iceberg.
Yeah.
So you create this environment for people when they walk in. You greet them. You give them your attention. You're making eye contact. You make everyone feel welcome. And like you genuinely are happy that they are there because you are.
I am.
So how does it work? Does someone walk in, you greet them, thank God. And then it's like, am I listening? Am I sharing? How do you kind of know what that is? And how do you know what the prompt is?
Okay, so before you arrive or when we announce the event, the gathering, announce the gathering, there's a theme. And I'm really intentional about picking themes that have and hold duality to them. So if the theme is hope, it could be about a moment where you experience an immense amount of hope or hopelessness. And so allows people to kind of explore the spectrum of the theme. And the themes need to apply to different areas of life. So like we have one coming up on transitions, and that can apply to work, that can apply to romance, to friendship, to family, whatever. And I give some kind of like thought starter questions about the theme. And I also usually give like a reading or a podcast episode to help you ground in what are your beliefs about that theme. And when you walk in, there's just a little bit of like mingling. I usually have like a little icebreaker. So go up to a new friend and ask them about a recent transition that they went through or something like that. And I set the ground rules. And the first half of the event is all about exploring our intellectual side about the theme. So in small groups, you're kind of getting to know more people that are around you. And I will kind of throw in a couple of questions to help people ground and challenge their beliefs on the theme through the perspective of others. And when you're starting to engage a little bit more of your like philosophical or intellectual brain, stories tend to emerge. Like it's very hard to keep them separate. And so from that, we then take a short intermission and I offer if a story emerged, if you feel called to share about a moment in time where you experienced a transition, you put your name in the bowl and at random, we have a few little rituals, but at random you're selected to at random, you're selected to share a 3 to 5 minute story based on your own lived experience. And there's no microphones, there's no stage, there's no judges, there's no grading. It is very much like communal campfire style storytelling. And people are sitting on the floor, people are sitting on couches. And when else do you get that like undivided, uninterrupted attention to your lived experience? And I intentionally don't have a Q&A after. I mean, people can come up to you and ask you questions after the whole event is over, but I am really intentional about not having a Q&A because it's beautiful to just let someone's story be their story and let it be out in the world. I love that stories can't be contested. I love that you can't challenge someone's lived experience. There's so much in the world that's like bifurcating us to like pick a side or like choose a lane or have an opinion on something. And you can feel however you want to feel about someone's story. And I believe that there's something to be learned about from every single person's story. Even if I'm like, wow, this story really sucks. Like, oh my God. Like, and that has happened to me before. I'm like, Rachel, why do you feel that way? Like, why are you reacting so negatively to this story? Like, why is that rubbing you the wrong way? And there's a whole lesson in that, a whole self-exploration in that.
To be able to give someone I loved the ones that I've been to when someone stands up and is like, this is my first time getting in front of a group and presenting. Or like the last one they went to was like the 50th anniversary.
Whoa, 50th StoryTell. That would be crazy. If I've been doing it for 50 years.
Wait, I was like, but that was the 50th one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. You're going to be. I was bawling my eyes out. Like just bawling my eyes out. I did not care who saw me. These people's stories were so unfathomable, unbelievable. And if you're ever like, should I go? Should I not go? It's like, what is preventing you from going? And let's dig into that. Mm-hmm. Like, why? You know? Have you ever received pushback from someone on like, I don't want to go because?
Like, I don't want to share a story, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we are always living our stories, and stories kind of need to be digested. And then there's a choice to share that or not. I think a lot of us are still kind of metabolizing our stories. And so I think that that's a very valid reason to not share. It's like, yeah, I'm still processing. I'm still trying to think about how I feel about this story. I think that there's also really great stories that come through that messy, meandering middle of like, I'm still going through this right now. But I don't know. I think that I don't really pressure or necessarily encourage people to share. I think that it needs to come from within. And there's so much power in being a listener because to hold that space for people, to give that eye contact, to like be so undividedly focused on one person, not to mention a fucking stranger, is so powerful. We need listeners too. So, yeah, I do feel positively of like, if something is bubbling within you to share, that you should share. But sometimes people are like, this theme doesn't really resonate with me or whatever. And then get the fuck out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, get the fuck out. I didn't share both times. And I feel like I would be the person to share. And I feel like I'm always doing the talking. I'm always doing the engaging. And it felt so good just to be able to give others the floor. Yeah. And like to be actively engaged and listening.
Well, there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. To be held, like, and to hold others. Oof.
To have and to hold by you for everyone.
I do.
Where do you want to see StoryTell? It's 2026, started in 2023. Where would you ideally like to see StoryTell in 2029? Wow, what a year.
Whoa.
Like a 3-year check-in.
It's so interesting because I'm so focused on reorienting my relationship with StoryTell. Like I mentioned at the beginning, like I was the target audience for StoryTell and now I'm not. And there's a little bit of a disconnect there. And I still feel very much in service of my community, in service of the people that really need this, because I remember when I really needed it. But selfishly, I'm like, what do I need now? And making sure that I'm feeding myself, because community building is sometimes thankless. It is not revenue generating. It is like a heart forward project. And I need to be fueling myself if I want to keep it going. I'm so passionate about intergenerational relationships and intergenerational community. So I really hope to kind of evolve StoryTell to incorporate people of older and younger generations. Like how cool would it be for like a college student to witness like a 6-year-old that's like lived some life, you know? Like I want them to hear each other's perspectives. I think that's so powerful. And so I would really be focused on like partnering with intergenerational organizations to make that happen. And I'm really passionate about this concept that I'm trying to bring to life this year called StoryTell Field Trips, where you know, StoryTell right now is in a very safe, contained 4 walls, living room style environment. But what does it look like when we like get out in the city and witness and immerse ourselves in the stories of the people that make up like the fabric of our neighborhoods? And so there are like shop owners that have been running like tea shops and flower shops for years. You good?
I had the flu.
That was a child's cough like this.
I did.
Where's your iPad?
We did ask him to turn Bluey on. Earlier.
iPad with a blue case.
Like the big jumbo blue case that if you drop it
you did have the flu. He was sick.
Oh shit.
Like yesterday. No, it's okay. We're fine.
Like an hour ago.
I had mono, but like you don't hear me talking about it.
I do. I did because I heard it before he came in.
Women can handle being sick so much better than men can. I'm sorry.
I guess my favorite thing, not that anybody asked me about having mono, was like when I tell people I had mono, and they're
How
like,
was having mono?
they're like, "Who are you kissing?" And I'm like, "Wouldn't you like to know?" It's literally no one.
How do you get mono if you're not kissing people?
So if you got mono once, then the virus stays dormant in you. It's the Epstein-Barr virus, and it can be reactivated with things like stress or season or.
That blows.
Oh, it totally blows.
So you're always like mono prone.
Yeah, and I'm actually starting to see a functional HIPAA. I'm starting to see a functional medicine doctor on Monday because I think something's going on with my bod. But we can talk more after the pod. I was telling you about my sleeping issues.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it on the pod?
I mean, I can. I'm like pretty honest. Honestly, more people need to be talking about their health battles because the more you talk to someone, the more they're like, oh my God, my cousin's neighbor had that. Or have you tried X?
Well, that's literally just anything. Like the more you just vocalize what you're
Totally.
experiencing, like anytime that I'm feeling like I am the only one going through this thing, I am so radically vulnerable with my friends about it. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm also going through that too. And I'm like, what? You appear like you got all your shit together. And it's just like, it's never real.
My friend just told me she's been like feeling depressed and anxious for 6 months. I'm like, and you're just bringing this up to me.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to talk about, I love my Lexapro. And she was asking me about medication and whatnot. And I was like explaining to her. And I was like, I had no freaking idea that you were struggling. And it's kind of like, what if I didn't keep everything to myself?
It's very freeing.
I interrupted you though. The intergenerational of it all is so important.
Oh yeah, and StoryTell field trips was the other thing about like bringing us out into the world to like connect with the makers and the creators of our city. Like there are people that have been store owners for so many years that have just perfected their craft and have contributed to the fabric of New York in a very unique way. And I want to like immerse ourselves in their stories and use that to kind of extract conversation and moments of connection among the StoryTell community around the themes that kind of emerge from witnessing the lived experience of someone else.
I love that. And it's making me think that when the time is right, and you'll know when it is, it's almost like a video series about that sort of thing. It reminds me of Humans of New York and just like the essence that we all want to go deeper but don't always know how.
Yeah.
And even if not everyone is physically present, like I think social media, to give an ode to it again, is just like it's a connector. It can spread people really far apart, but it also, there's so much positivity and light. And like I feel like StoryTell does that, and it's very powerful. And like I just hope you are so proud of yourself. I can't believe that you did this. Like,
Thank you.
I'll say it again. Like, you guys have to fucking go. If you can get a spot, good luck.
This is just an ad for StoryTell.
It's just an ad.
Yeah.
It's just after one session, I was like, I can't believe this has been going on for 48 other sessions and I wasn't here. You know? So thank you for that.
Thank you. And like, honestly, at the 50th StoryTell, like I knew like mentally that I was proud of myself, but I definitely wasn't feeling it in my body. And I think what keeps coming up in this conversation is that there can be like really great experiences and things that are like happening on the surface for the community, but also how that affects the community builder is also a very different narrative. Because if you say, how was your 50th StoryTell? On the theme of how was it for, bless you, wow, everyone's got the fucking flu now.
It's just COVID.
It's mono.
Yeah.
Everyone good?
Sorry, it's just my chlamydia. It's just my chlamydia. It's just like flaring up.
Good thing it went in that direction.
Totally.
I don't know.
Wait, I know what you were talking about. Just give me like 2 seconds.
Wait, I got it. Because I was going like this. So
Oh my God, what was it?
I got it.
Okay.
So when I reflect on our
Wait,
conversation.
how was your 50th StoryTell?
Yes, exactly. So when I reflect on my 50th StoryTell, how was it for the community? It was incredible. Like the event was beautiful. How was it for me? I was burnt out. I was overstimulated. I was exhausted. I was not present. And I can't really parse those out. They coexist together. And so as much as I can, I want to feed myself so that I can continue to sustain this. It's so important to tend to my own needs. And this is not like a entrepreneurial venture in the sense of like, I need to make money to survive and like live my life. This is like my gift to the world, but it also needs to be a gift to myself.
Absolutely. And the second I feel like it starts not feeling like that is when it's no bueno.
No bueno. So yeah, a lot of like the growth or what the 3-year plan is like, what do I want my life to look like and how does StoryTell fit into that?
I have a feeling you'll figure it out and you can't even fathom what it is right now because it's going to be so unique to you, as was StoryTell when you started it. You couldn't have fathomed that StoryTell was going to be as big as it was right now 3 years prior in 2020, you know?
Yeah.
So like you might just not even know.
I definitely don't know.
You got to look after you.
It's all I got to do.
Rachel, what's your not that deep of the day? Did I tell you to prep that? Please, 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 please. Did I tell you to prep that?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. Can you just say, because it's going to be the intro.
Yeah.
Can you just say, my not that deep of the day today is.
Okay.
Sorry, sometimes people stutter.
Yeah, a bounce pass.
Hey, you guys. Rachel's not that deep of the day today is.
It's not that deep to talk to strangers.
Do you want to elaborate at all? Maybe a one sentence follow up or no?
I just think that we value these long-term friendships, these people that have been in our life for so long. And I think that there's so much beauty in the very small interconnectedness of our world. And if we're not talking to each other and engaging with each other in friendly, colloquial, small burst ways, then majority of our life is just kind of moving with blinders on. And that's lonely. I even just like smiled to a guy on the subway on the way over here. And that like changed my whole mood. And I feel like we need to rebuild our trust in our neighbors and this sense of communal safety. And we won't be able to do that without interacting with each other. And I take a lot of swings socially. I take a lot of social risks. And people are terrified of that. And I get a lot of rejection, like people being pretty disengaged. But I would say 85 to 90% of the time, people are so stoked to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's that deep.
Amazing follow through. It's your energy. Your energy is so welcoming. It's so warm. And like, I really feel like you're going to change the world if you haven't already. And I feel like this is just the beginning. Like, I can't wait to say I knew her when. And I love you. And thank you so much for coming on Not That Deep. Everyone check out storytell.nyc, right?
No dot.
StoryTell NYC and Rachel Smachel on Instagram.
But I'm private. Just follow StoryTell NYC on Instagram.
Oh my God, I'm like butchering this.
It's fine.
Why do we even have the rights to a podcast?